There are a number of ways that you can deal with risk. We have basically identified 4. You can accept it, take all of the risk, which is probably not a good idea. You can avoid the risk, which is kind of what we're talking about with the CD discussion here today. And are you really avoiding it? Are you really avoiding one risk but taking on other risks? And we're going to talk about that as well. You can manage the risk, which is what we believe in doing, and you can also transfer the risk. And we can talk about what that is about a little bit later on in the show. But I used the story of me jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, by the way, and with a tandem jumper, actually. Years ago, when I first got into the broadcasting business, my first job was in Quincy, Illinois, 1996, and I had always kind of thought about that was kind of a bucket list thing for me to do. I wanted to be able to do that at least once and see what it was like.
To jump out of a totally okay airplane for no good reason.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Just clarifying.
Yes.
Makes no sense to me, but okay, you do you.
It's really technically a skydive is what it is. So you're not just jumping out of an airplane. But so they had this, I don't know why in Quincy, Illinois, but they had the world's free fall convention where people came from all around. Yeah, I guess because it was a flat area and there was long runways. But anyway, people would come from all around and they would skydive like all weekend. And they offered a chance for the publicity of having a story done on the news. They offered a reporter a chance to go and get a free jump, right?
Okay.
So I took advantage of it and did a story on it. And I did about 1 hour of training before I actually went up for the jump, which I thought was really kind of a small amount of training. I don't know that I was fully ready.
There's a lot you need to learn
in 60 minutes.
Short period of time.
But we took the training, and I went up, and I was connected to a professional. So it was a tandem jump, right? He was really doing most of the work, let's be honest. I took the training, but he was going to do most of the work. And I remember being in that airplane, and like you said, a perfectly good airplane, and I was the only amateur in here.
Oh.
The other people in the plane were going to be coming out and doing formations, and they were professional jumpers. So when we got to altitude and they throw up the door, those guys were out in 12 seconds, boom, 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 boom. And it's just me and the tandem guy that I'm attached to, and he's literally dragging me over to the opening because at this point I'm not real sure if I want to do it. And I stare out over this green, blue sky and green land below and have to make the decision, is this really what I want to do? So when you talk about the ways to deal with risk, I could have accepted it and really just not had that tandem jumper and just, not even had a
jump with
parachute, right?
And hope for the best.
Yes, that's clearly not going to happen. I could have avoided the risk and turned around.
That's my vote.
Yeah, that's what you would have done?
That's my vote, yeah. I'd avoid that.
Turn around and gone back in and said, I don't want to do it. But it was my goal to skydive, right? Yeah. So when you think about it in the money world, in the investment world, what are your goals? And are you going to be able to achieve your goal by avoiding risk? You could manage the risk, which is why I had a parachute. And you could transfer the risk, which is why I had the guy who knew what he was doing attached to me. Want more content like this delivered to your inbox weekly? Visit fastest4.com to learn more.